One Piece 1009 Prediction. Luffy turned on Gear 5? Law moved to Big Mom? Jack vs Inu, is Sanji back? Hello everyone, welcome back to Top Shounen. Facing two men at the same time, no different from hell, these are the words from the mouth of a young buffalo, a proud, fearless guy. Although he laughed, but Kid still had to admit that he couldn't fight with two emperors at the same time, especially when Kaido and Bigmom were both at the top. Perhaps even healthy Whitebeard cannot win, let alone 5 supernovas. So Law had to come up with a way to split the coordination of the two Yonko, and at the same time they also needed a strong enough power to seriously injure Kaido, before Bigmom returned. So will Luffy release a new power, specifically Gear 5? It is likely that, when 10 minutes has passed, Luffy's haki is restored. But the problem, what will Law do to separate the two emperor? The target is Kaido or Bigmom. It's difficult to say, because both of them can fly, and no supernova can hold the quartet in solo. The situation at the top of the skull was difficult, but in the castle it was not much different, when Kanjuro just seriously injured a Shuridachi, and Inuarashi was facing Jack. Not to mention that Orokai was setting fire to the demon castle, he intended to submerge everything in flames, which was also a big problem. If the fire reached the hall, since the queen had closed all the exits, all the people who could not fly in it would be like chickens with no way out. We are in need of Sanji's role now more than ever, and his scurrying to find Momonosuke, or the Red Star Group, could lead to an encounter with Orokai or Yamato. No matter what, Sanji's comeback will change the situation a lot. Sanji will shine to regain his image. Like Sanji, Luffy as well as Zoro need to show stronger, but for a yellow S factor to surpass him, you guys laugh. In addition, I will also take a look at other areas of the battlefield, and try to predict some possible situations in Chapter 1009. Here, we invite you to join Top Shounen to this pretty interesting topic. 1. Law moves Bigmom. With the current situation, Luffy and the supernovas are proving to be too weak, when facing the two Yonko. Law has suggested that he should split one of the two, but he did not say specifically who. But Kaido was the target of all of them, so needless to say, the object that Law wanted to remove was Bigmom. However, it is called situation analysis, but using such logic is not reasonable, so I will give the reasons that Bigmom is more comprehensive than Kaido, needs to separate her from the fight immediately. First of all, Kaido is in the melee system. On the one hand he is the king, with absolutely no opponent in the world, he can solo and defeat him. Plus buffalo defense, fast recovery, huge damage, but can't hit long range. All of Kaido's long-range attacks are in the form of dragons, which in turn puts Kaido at a disadvantage. The most powerful move up to now, 8-8, also melee, if you just keep your distance, or Law support in time, you won't be afraid of getting hit. It was different from Bigmom. Napoleon's sword cut painlessly with Kaido's cycle, but Bigmom's mastery of majesty was different, its power was comparable to Leo Bat Gua. Even so, the kingdom has the ability to hit very far. First when chasing Luffy's group on Cake Island, recently in the Demon Castle, she only swung her hand once, blasted the castle wall, far away aftershocks. To the beach. Equivalent power to Leo Bat Fuck, but hitting long range, clearly wanting to reach the two Four Kings in general, or Bigmom in particular, is impossible. Kaido had to get close to him to be scary, but Bigmom was standing 100 meters away, still spilling his pants. Not to mention the lightning strike from her Zeus. It has the function of locating the target. All the other 4 supernovae have been jerked to fool by it, now not foolish to fight Bigmom anymore. A quick listing can be seen. Bigmom has great support, overcoming all of Kaido's weaknesses, although I'm not sure melee attack is a weakness. But at least they have a chance to hit Kaido, and Bigmom's support is difficult to reach the hairs. Secondly, Kaido can fly by himself. Law uses his room to take him away, just winking Kaido is back. Bigmom is the opposite. She relies on Zeus or Prometheus to fly. Law can target animators inside the room, he can separate Bigmom, and the homies stay where they were. In Chapter 1000, Law went straight from the cellar to the top of his skull, proving that his room was very large. Throwing Bigmom downstairs was not difficult. She could sense the homies at a certain distance, and call them in at the same time, but that was enough time for the supernovae to process Zeus and Prometheus. The one handling them might be Zoro. With his ultimate fire-cutting technique, he would seriously injure Prometheus, unfortunately no Brook here. But after Chapter 999, we discovered that the two Zeus and Prometheus were weak. They worked for a while, they would need to recharge. As long as they weakened, the power of Big Mom also decreased. It is necessary to remove her from the dome for the time being. 5 to 2 is impossible, so it must be split. Zoro definitely has one ticket. He will still come back with Luffy to deal with Kaido, but have to wait until someone helps to stop Big Mom. For now, I still maintain my point of view in the previous video, that Zoro will be with Law or Killer to hold the Big Mother. Zoro will do main damage, with demonic powers in his body, while Law plays the support. Inside Law's room cuts everything, except for stronger opponents, so he can cut off Zeus, and Prometheus will take care of Zoro. Scraping these two pets, Big Mom will lose the ability to fly. Big Mom will take a lot of time to climb the dome, and Law and Zoro can speed up at any time. Hard-working style, one guy blocked the attack, and the other guy kept moving. Whenever Big Mom was about to fly away, Law would swap her position, that would wear Big Mom out. What they need to do is not beat Big Mom, just holding the feet is enough. The reason Big Mom rushed to the top with Kaido, was because she knew that the Red Stars were very strong. Kaido did not heal after fighting them. He is currently weakened a lot, especially since being punched repeatedly by Luffy with high-level haki. They definitely work, we have avoided hitting them a lot, they must feel it. Luffy is a genius in combat, although Kaido is still calm, but he still believes, and affirms. Their attacks have an effect. The fact that Big Mom ignored Marco and hurriedly flew to the roof, she must have been a bit worried. After watching Luffy continuously defeat Cracker and Katakuri, Kid went to the troubled territory. Big Mom did not dare to look down on the Buffalo Kids anymore. Perhaps she knew, Kaido was likely to fail, if he had just fought the samurai, to be reunited by a supernova. So she just waited for Luffy, to lend Kaido a hand, even though he initially told his older mother to leave, but now even Kaido no longer holds that superior attitude. Therefore, separating Big Mom from Kaido, Luffy, Kid, and Killer would have a chance. Law and Zoro will be holding the Big Mother together, taking care of the two flying homies, and at the same time making her inhibit. Even though Kenjiro was on our side, he drew Caramel's mother for Zoro, making sure Big Mom got traumatized. But unfortunately he was too corrupt, determined to destroy the Kojiki clan to the end. But there is still one more weakness of Big Mom, which makes her want to speed up, which is an appetite disease. Remember when she went crazy, chasing the Sunny for her wedding cake? At that time, Big Mom was thinner on the first day, his sanity also decreased. Sparrow had to say, I have never seen my mother so thin. Show that even though she has the power of a monster, she still needs additional energy, like the two Zeus and Prometheus. Never before had there been any opponents that made Big Mom chase, or fought for too long, to the point of being so thin. Now there will be a second time. Zoro and Law are very strong, the more power she uses, the faster she gets hungry. If not eating additional calories, Big Mom will lose weight and weaken. The chance will come when she has an appetite, then they can temporarily forget Big Mom's presence, return to focus on Kaido. However, Zoro and Law will have to work hard, and at the same time hope that on top of their skulls, the other three have not been knocked out by Kaido. With Luffy recovering from his haki, the chances of him collapsing after a few cycles is very difficult, but injuring Kaido is not that easy either. Maybe it's time. Luffy released another gear. 2. Luffy's new form. Chapter 993, the Imperial citizens built a doll resembling Kojiki Odin, as a way to commemorate him. The Fire Festival is based on the Japanese Obon Festival, the day when people welcome their deceased ancestors back. With Oni Island seeing Mount Fuji in the distance, which is close to the capital of Hana, the author of Oda let Odin appear. Even though it is fake, it still has the same meaning. However, there is another special feature. The doll in chapter 993 has the same face as Odin, but her physique is based on the image of the emperor. This is the patron deity in Japanese Buddhism, the youth form of the flower Hyagoro, also based on the image of the immortal King Immortal. Coincidentally, so did his pupil Luffy. In chapter 990, Hyagoro remarked, "Still the same?" Looking at the appearance, you can see as a wise king. He once saw Luffy turn on Gear 4 in Uden, but to his surprise, it is certain that Luffy has made a significant change now. Surely Luffy will have another variation, used against Kaido. We've always seen Luffy use his basic state to scout his opponent, then unleash his new ultimate move. Just like in Dressrosa, the first half with Doflamingo ended, he used Gear 4. Coming to the Cake Island arc, just met Cracker, Lu had to use Gear 4, spent one night eating full of cookies, the Tank Man variant to defeat him was born. Against Katakuri it was still the Gear of 4 Bounce Man, but before his watchful haki, Luffy realized he needed to be faster, so he used his variant Snake Man. So what does Luffy need with Kaido? I think damage, Cracker just defensively, big damage using Tank Man. Katakuri is fast, strong, it needs to be faster, putting it all into speed. To Kaido, he is also fast, too strong and too tough, but does not like dodging, such fighting style requires extraordinary stamina. Therefore, if using Snake Man is fast, but the damage is weak, it is not enough to hurt him. The Tank Man form can be omitted as well, and the Bounce Man is used by Luffy, it doesn't work very well, so Lu will use a different form. This new state is not as big as Bounce Man, to save haki covering the body, but also not small like Snake Man, a perfect form for Luffy to burst damage and attack Kaido. At the end of chapter 1008, Luffy had a face-to-face with Kaido, the two smiled at each other, signaling that the fighting was about to begin. After the previous haki exhausted, Luffy used his usual attack, but of course Gear 2 and 3 right now are just scratching. So I guarantee chapter 1009 will be a new shape, a Kingman variation like when fighting Bullet. Or more adventurous, the whole Gear 5 as revealed by the author Oda, in SBS episode 98. Every time going through an arc, defeating a strong enemy, or learning a new skill, Luffy will return demonstrating new powers in the next battle. After practicing the haki, you created Gear 4, then training into high-class haki, there will definitely be new gear, or at least another variation of the previous gear. At the end of chapter 842, Luffy also retorted with Cracker, "How many times have I said, I can't swallow any more pieces of cake, can we stand it all, but like that, it doesn't make sense. I'm going to waste what I eat." He then turned on Tank Man to defeat Cracker. Even chapter 894 is similar, he has a few words back and forth with Katakuri, "What's wrong with the straw hat? Are you out of breath? It's correct. Get up and get up." And next, there is a new state, named Snake Man. At the end of chapter 1008, Luffy also scolded both Kaido and Bigmom, saying, "I've been in hell several times now, not bad, Straw Hat, your eyes never seem to turn off the fire." After this quote, up to 96.69% that Luffy will turn on new gear, then rush to hit each other with Kaido. Meanwhile, Law and the other supernovas will be ready to respond, especially looking for the opportunity to move Big Mom away. When Zoro and Law held Big Mom, Killer would use his brain to support a rubber brain, with a cerebral. Kid is a tank, Luffy is the main damage, Killer is the secondary damage, and a support. With his new form, Luffy can fight longer, as he is used to his high-level armed haki. The confrontation with the two emperors, after 10 minutes Luffy ran out of haki, still no one has collapsed, I am sure that the three of them will not fall, when only Kaido is left. Anyway, he was pretty much weaker, Law and Zoro restrained Big Mom, so Luffy will take care. When the island flies to the capital city, a scene where Luffy punches Kaido falls in the middle of the castle, right next to Odin's doll, just like when he punched Doflamingo. When Kaido falls off Demon Island, he will be too far away from the clouds of fire, Momonosuke can enlist his bond with Kaido, to take control. While Luffy flies down to continue the fight, above him will keep Oni Island hovering, while allowing him to fall somewhere else. In order to do that, Luffy will need another gear. 3. Jack and Inuarashi, Sanji appeared? Finally, coming to the battle of the King of the Day, Inuarashi, with the head cut off Jack Drought. We all see how ragged Inuarashi, even with first aid and awakening, but he could hardly compare with Jack, the ancient Zoan Eater. In the past, Jack solo with both Inu and Nico for 5 days and 5 nights. At that time, the two Mink Kings took turns fighting and resting, and Jack did not sleep at all. Obviously his stamina, as well as recovery, are too powerful, not to mention Inu has a leg off, not as strong as before. Well, in the end Jack needs an extra bottle of wine, to drink with 7 dishes. At this time Inu can only hold Jack for a moment, maybe both the mammoth or the humanoid form has a bit of a disadvantage, because he is slow. But remember Jack has not used the strongest form of half human and half animal, I think when solo with Inu, Jack will use this form. And the end, of course, will be the death for Inu, if no one is saved. Since the second floor has no moon, Inu does not turn on the state of so long will not be able to win. However, according to the law of preserving life, the total weight of Inuarashi as an ingredient would be equal to the total weight of the 7-dish mongoose, unless the chef weighed. Speaking of chefs, I immediately think of Sanji. Sanji's disappearance also makes us feel quite down. But I still want Sanji to come back, instead of Inuarashi beat Jack from the drought, regain some prestige, after playing comedy from the beginning of the Wano arc until now. The fight of the two blondes might be lacking a bit, because Jack was quite ragged, while Sanji was only punched a few times by Black Maria. The advantage is in Sanji's favor. However, the ancient Zoan was extremely cattle, wanting to defeat them requires destruction from within the body, beaten not to recover any more. Right now, Jack is the best person for Sanji to test out the black suit. In the capital, he used it once when fighting Page 1, but Sanji said he would ask Frankie and Usopp to improve it. Arriving on Oni Island, he used his stealth ability to save Momo, blocking King's attacks without scratching, and the defense ability was comparable to Ancient Zoan. What about the power when attacking? We haven't seen it yet, hope Sanji will use it against Jack. As for the main enemy of the hotel, I still think the Queen is the plague, considering the science of your father and who he is more beneficial. It sounds a bit difficult for the two Okanban to get the meat, but Jack is ragged. When he met the Queen, Marco and the President also let him feel damp. Sanji just had to remove the trough. Eating bad to kill two Okanban, as well as being a fair solo to win against Queen, Jinbe is also fighting with Who's Who. Oda's author gave her stepchild shine like that. I think it's more favorable than now. Those are some of my observations about the next 1008 chapter. If you like this video, do not forget to give the like, shares and one channel registration to support Top Shounen. Goodbye and see you again.
Yeah.